I have another one here for you, our governor of Texas. And this one has me pissed off. So let me go ahead and tell you first. Let me lead it in. Texas governor claims that he wants better control of the border, and he is pissed off that El Señor Biden is going to get rid of Trump's racist immigration policies, and we can go over that some other time. But he's going to do something about it. And what the clown did is he reduced traffic on the border to a crawl by stopping every truck. And in other words, he's doing everything that supposedly Republicans and conservatives are not supposed to do. So let's go ahead and play this little piece here, and then we'll take it on the other side.
Republican Governor Greg Abbott ordered more commercial vehicle inspections at the Texas-Mexico border, causing major traffic delays. Thousands of inspections are causing long lines in El Paso and Laredo, with drivers waiting as long as 36 hours and having the goods inside their trucks go bad. The situation's so severe that Abbott's own agriculture commissioner is slamming him, warning Texans of food shortages that could lead to price hikes, including $2 lemons and $5 avocados. Even the Wall Street Journal editorial board is calling the governor's move a, quote, stunt that makes the border mess worse. All of this is happening because Abbott wants to protest President Biden for scrapping a Trump-era border policy. That rule, known as Title 42, blocked more than 1.7 million attempted border crossings since the pandemic hit.
And here's how the Wall Street Journal editorial board put it. Governor Abbott's truck inspections are costing Texans and Americans dearly while doing nothing to secure the border. Thousands of trucks are backed up at the border, and commercial traffic has dropped 60% at some ports since last week. This is not solving the border problem. It is increasing the cost of food and adding supply chain shortages, says Texas Agricultural Commissioner Miller. Such a misguided program is going to quickly lead to $2 lemons and $5 avocados and worse. For more of this, let's bring in the reporter covering this story for the Texas Tribune, Mitchell Furman. Mitchell, I noticed yesterday this was starting to blow up a bit in national outlets. I saw it on Twitter. Conservatives, of course, trying to blame Joe Biden for this. It doesn't appear that the Wall Street Journal or the governor's own agricultural commissioner is having anything to do with this. And the truckers, what we're hearing from them is just an absolute nightmare scenario for them getting their items, especially the perishables, across the border.
Not only perishables, electronics, TVs, medical equipment, and other goods are delayed and have been delayed for days, and even at some bridges they have been completely blockaded by Mexican truckers. Those have subsided in the last 18 hours, but for the first half of this week, there was no traffic crossing multiple bridges connected to Texas and Mexico.
All right, let me show something to my conservative brothers that the supply chain problem when it occurs, right? They wanted to blame Biden for something he had no control over. The supply chain problem was created by the private sector's greed. It was created because, one, they decide to offshore a lot of production. Two, they decide to create something known as just-in-time inventory, which means that they expect the flow of goods from overseas to America to be seamless. In other words, they get the product manufactured in China, Vietnam, or elsewhere, Korea. It goes onto a ship. It comes into the port in LA, Houston, Louisiana, or wherever, and just in time to come to the factory where they build the product. And again, that chain runs just fine, right? In previous lifetimes, we always had something known as inventory, where we may keep a couple of months, 3 months, 4 months of product parts so that we could continue the line if there's a hurricane somewhere or whatever. But now these new business people come into the fold and they decide that I can save some money by not having the storage, and I can do all these things, and the profit that we make and the efficiency, they like to call it the efficiency gain. The efficiency we gain can now go into our pockets, the pockets of the investors and the pockets and bonuses to the corporate executives. That's what has happened, right? So now we get a pandemic. And by the way, and they don't want to solve problems that will prevent pandemics, right? They don't want to have the government stock things up that could mitigate the beginning of a pandemic or all of that because they don't want to pay taxes. So they don't want to pay taxes to mitigate pandemics. They don't want to have inventory. That's why they create just-in-time inventory. And they don't want to pay the American worker, so they export American jobs. So all that supply issue that we have today that is causing inflation that they now want to bilk us for, right? They call it that we are responsible for the supply chain problem. False. It is the private sector. But here is the deal. A Republican governor decide to be and insert himself into the private sector and start to slow down traffic. So now we can actually say the supply chain problem is a Republican governing problem because they screwed up the supply chain that caused a lot of product to spoil, that caused a lot of product to not be delivered, that causes all these problems that they used to want to accuse Biden of doing, which he had no part of. So here we have those who are inclined to be Republicans who created the supply chain problem with the offshoring, just-in-time inventory, and lack of paying taxes. And we have a Texas governor who decides that he's going to screw with the supply chain by preventing trucks to come over the border as they should. And now even his party has turned against him. Are you guys ready for Governor Beto O'Rourke, Lieutenant Governor Mike Collier? I am. Mike Collier will be our Lieutenant Governor, and Beto O'Rourke will be our governor. I'm talking Governor and Lieutenant Governor of Texas. So anyhow, it is important that we understand these issues. But you know what else? Governor Abbott, he does things in order to create some sort of a reaction. The thing about it is he never helps. He never helps. Think about this. He should have accepted the Medicaid expansion to the Affordable Care Act. Why? Because he would have healed a lot of Texans. A lot of Texans would not have gotten sick and died had he done that. So he didn't do that. So we can call our governor a killer for not supporting the Medicaid expansion to the Affordable Care Act. Now we can also call him a disruptor, a negative one, for causing a supply chain disruption. We also can call him an anti-woman person for wanting to control every aspect of a woman's body. Do you not think if Democrats catered a message that perfectly illustrates that this guy is unfit to govern, not based on what he said he's going to do, but based on everything that he has done thus far? Why don't we have Beto? If you need me to help you with that commercial, even though I'm not an expert, I'll help you, Brother Beto. I've interviewed you a couple of times. And by the way, I should be interviewing Brother Beto sometime with KPFT in the very near future. At least that's what the manager has told me thus far. So we'll see how that goes. But again, there is a story to tell about Beto O'Rourke versus Greg Abbott, and about Mike Collier versus Dan Patrick. Two troglodytes, again, two good, not very progressive guys. Neither Beto nor Mike Collier, and by the way, Mike Collier is my neighbor, but neither one of these guys are the most progressive guys, but they are great for Texas. They are great for Texas. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.